Love Unseen Beneath the Clear Night Sky has to be one of my favorite romance animes this season. But with this most recent episode, I have a sneaky suspicion that this anime is going to make me absolutely depressed. Actually, you know what? I take that back. It's going to make all of us absolutely depressed. Because there were some things said in this episode that made me question if what I thought earlier was absolutely correct. Because I made a video before talking about how I think this anime is going to end up with us being very, very sad. Now, with that said, I really hope that for one, it doesn't. But if it does make me sad, I hope I get a lot of happiness leading up to the sadness. But the main reason why I want to talk about why this is going to make us depressed in this episode is what the main character, or Fuyutsuki, one of the main characters obviously, says during this episode. What she ends up saying, or basically asking Sarano, is the fact that does he have anything he wants to do before he dies, aka a bucket list, right? And initially I was thinking, I mean, it's whatever, right? It's not that big of a deal that she said that, whatever. But then she says another line, right, that really, really messes with me. She verbatim says, "You never know when you might die." And that right there cleared up every suspicion, or really solidified every suspicion for me, that I don't think this anime is going to end with pure happiness. I think there's going to be sadness on the back end. Now, I will say this. This anime is amazing, right? It's amazing. It is cute. Is it adorable? It's adorable. And Fuyutsuki is a ray of freaking sunshine. But when she said this, when she said these words, and she said essentially like, you never know when you're going to die, and then tried to play it off like it was a joke, I immediately was thinking to myself, holy freaking you know what? I have a bad feeling about this. Like, I honestly have a really bad feeling about this, and I feel like this is some pretty heavy foreshadowing. And I hate to be a negative Nancy, because really this anime is amazing. And it's still going to be amazing if it ends on a sad note. It doesn't change that. But you guys know me, I'm a big fan of kicking my feet. Like, I want to be in the midst of just happiness. I want to be smiling. I want to have all those feelings. I don't want any of the sadness. I really don't. I'd rather not. But this anime is so good that it's got me. It's got me to the point where I'm like 95% sure that we're going to have something sad happen to a certain degree, and it still is not stopping me from watching the anime. Because without a shadow of a doubt, this anime really is amazing, and this episode was also really, really damn good as well. But I felt like I had to be said before I get into the happiness and before I get into, like, you know, what I really liked about this episode. It had to be said that what she said threw up a lot of question marks and didn't really feel like a joke. And we all know that she essentially got her blindness not from being born, right? She wasn't born with blindness. She had her sight at one point, and then she went blind. So what does that tell you about somehow what occurred to make her go blind? Most likely a sickness, most likely something along those lines. And it definitely makes me very, very scared. But really, this episode itself has so much good stuff. And I felt like I still, with all the said of the depressing stuff, I felt like I have to talk about what's amazing about this episode. Now, for starters, we start with some amazing back and forth with Fuyutsuki and Sarano, where she essentially realizes that her favorite drink is unable to be pressed because they're out of it. And on top of that, she's like, screw it, Russian roulette, and just clicks a random button, and unfortunately gets a drink she does not really like. And funny enough, she ends up making essentially Sarano drink it, which is a pretty funny thing as well, because she does not like fizzy drinks at all. And this is obviously when we get into the whole conversation about death, but hey, we're going to skip over that because I already talked about that for a good little bit. But I do find it really adorable that the two of them are on joking terms. They're laughing, they're joking. They seem to be really good friends. Like, that seems really cool. And on top of that, it seems that Sarano really likes hanging out with her. It seems like he's having a really good time being around her, being with her, all of those things. And the reality is, she is a ray of sunshine, right? She is the exact opposite of Sarano, and she gives off this ray of sunshine that cannot be ignored. Like, that ray of sunshine's really, 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 really cheerful and gleeful to be around. So I bet he has a great time being around her, and she doesn't let her being blind have an effect on her at all. Now, the next thing that ends up happening in this episode that is actually decently entertaining, and I knew how it was going to go down, was actually them going to karaoke, which, guess what? Fuyutsuki is the one that said, hey, yeah, let's go to karaoke. Yeah, nah, I don't want to go to lunch. Let's go to karaoke and get food. And of course she would do that, right? The most outgoing thing you possibly can do. The most thing with, like, you know, the most energy, stuff like that. That is her. And yeah, she's like, let's go to karaoke. And yeah, I mean, this scene is pretty interesting too. I mean, I think all of us were essentially waiting for Fuyutsuki to sing. And yeah, you know, the other two friends, they sing. But then Fuyutsuki sings and you're like, okay, that's crazy. Like, she also can sing. Like, this girl is the full package. She really is like that. Then that boy Sarano, he sings and he's like, I want to get the shortest one I possibly can. And he ends up singing a love song, which is very, very, very toned to what's going on, right? He's obviously in love with her, or becoming, like, you know, slowly but surely loving her. So having a love song is pretty funny in that factor. And while he's singing, she's like, oh, like, I actually know this song, and kind of sings with him, like, just like on the side, not like into the microphone, but kind of sings with him. And it's funny because really everyone there is like hyping him up and stuff like that, which is cool because obviously you guys are very talented. This boy is not the most talented, and when it comes to singing. But, you know, you guys are giving it like, oh, yeah, dude, you're doing great, whatever. That's really cool. That's friendship right there, right? It's really good friendship. And then we go back to the two of them essentially sitting down one-on-one once again, talking, joking, breaking things down. They're talking about basically the book that she's reading. But there is a funny note that happens during this where he goes fully silent. And she's like, hey, are you still there? And it's interesting because she's like, she still wants his company, right? And when he goes full silent, you know, full incognito, not really like, saying much, she worries that he's no longer there. And I thought that was really cute. They talk a little bit about the book, about the Braille, about her being able to read Braille, or at least feel Braille, right? And they kind of, go back and forth about it. And then they have the whole yellow bookmark thing where he tries to read it, he tries to place it back in her book, and unfortunately it flies off and he's unable to get it. He's extremely sorry about this, but she doesn't seem to care that much. She seems like she cares, but she's like, it's okay. But during this time, she also has a moment where she's essentially explaining the feeling of watching the fireworks, right? Feeling that everybody around her is essentially feeling the same thing, collectively, like being happy, being giddy about the fireworks and all this stuff and yada, yada, yada. And that's why she likes the fireworks, right? It's more than just the sounds, more than just, hearing it and it's about being around people that are happy, being around people that are giddy, excited, and enjoying the fireworks. And I was like, damn, hey, that is a pretty damn good way of looking at it for sure. And like I said, the whole, after that whole incident or that whole thing, after that conversation, the bookmark flies away. And essentially they decide that they want to see about this fireworks research-esque club. And this scene, honestly, seemingly is just for a placement of understanding in my book, right? For her, she doesn't like when people say something or show something or, visually do something, And then she's like, oh, what are you doing? And then they're like, oh, never mind. She doesn't like that. She's like, I want you to explain it to me. I want you to help me understand. I want you, right? And that makes sense. I heard this and I was like, yeah, this makes complete sense. She doesn't like when people are like, oh, no, never mind, and just dismisses it or decides not that it's not worth the effort or whatever. And this is what happens when they talk to the guy at the firework research club, where he essentially shows like that he has injuries from setting off fireworks in the past, and that it's not worth, getting hurt or whatever, some, stuff along those lines. And she's a little upset about that, right? But they end up deciding, like, they end up talking, or Fuyutsuki and Sarano talk after they, go to the research club for a second. Then they leave because they, he kind of like just shoos them away, and they talk, and they're like, hey, like, or Fuyutsuki's like, I want to go set off fireworks. I want to go to the fireworks shop. I want to set off fireworks. Sarano's like, no, I don't want to do that. No. And then eventually he caves in, just like every single other person would have caved in to this girl specifically. And yeah, he caves in and he's like, all right, fine, we'll do that. And what makes this episode so damn good is after they have that conversation, after all that, something beautiful happens. She ends up calling him on the phone, talking on the phone, asking, hey, where should we meet up, stuff like that. She's embarrassed because she's like listening to him in her ear, and same thing for him, right? It's like a different feeling when you're talking to someone on the phone. And then she ends up revealing that they are going on a date, and he's like, wait, it's a date? And instead of being like, oh, you don't want it to be a date, or hey, like, yeah, I thought it was a date, she goes, yup, it's a date. And that right there, I was like, that's a W. That is so, like, stand on business. Do what you want. Get what you personally want. And you want to go on a date with this guy, you freaking go on a date with this guy. And he obviously pushes back a tiny bit, not a ton, but he pushes back a little bit. He's like, oh, is this really like, us going to a shop or whatever, really a date? And she's like, what? Like, what else would it be? Like, what else would it be? Like, of course it's a date. And I heard that and I was like, you know what? That's a big W. I mean, at the end of the day, dude, you're winning. You're winning in life. You are. And I would hate for him to stop winning at all, right? I want him to win. Keep winning, bro. Keep living. Keep winning. All of the above. I just have my suspicions, and those suspicions make me very scared that I'm going to end up being very, very depressed at the end of this romance anime. But I hope that there is punches and bunches of a ton of happiness all along the way. But with that said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below. I appreciate all the support, the love, the support. I love when you guys, comment down below suggestions or what you felt about the episode, about what you felt about the anime. I love to read those. I love to check them out. And I appreciate you guys showing love, especially with this channel being so early. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.